So welcome and thank you everyone for taking this time tonight to practice and to be in this space together. We are going to start this evening's practice with a little bit of breath work, and we will dive right into our first postures. For anybody new joining tonight, which I know in this room everybody has been here before, but for anybody else, this is restorative yoga, so just make sure that you have pillows and blankets available so that you can be comfortable in all your postures. Good, so let's go ahead and find ourselves into a comfortable position. And what is a comfortable position? It's any way that you can sit with your spine upright. So I'll show you from the side. Just make sure that you can sit nice and tall. If you need to sit on the edge of a chair or even up against a wall, that can be helpful. If you're on the ground and your hips tend to be a little tight, you can sit up onto a pillow. But it's one of the most important parts of our practice is to be able to keep our spine free and long. And that's why we use certain postures that help to encourage that throughout our practice rather than to inhibit it. So when you're sitting in this way, palms facing up, the primary function is to keep your heart open. So most of us, we sort of have a postural habit of curving our shoulders in towards the center of our heart. We make a little cavern out of our heart. And it takes a little bit, actually quite a bit of reprogramming of your body to get the heart to stay open all the time. So if you notice when you flip your palms up and you draw your elbows slightly behind you, it forces the heart to stay open. And this is a worthy practice to dive into. So long as the heart is closed, it prevents energy from flowing into higher centers in the body, namely up towards the spiritual eye. So we want to keep the heart open at all costs. The other thing is to make sure that you're relaxed throughout your body. So typically we are holding tension in some part of our body, and most of the time we have no idea we're doing it. For me, it's in my hands. I'll find, even after 20 minutes of meditation, that for whatever reason, my hands sometimes are holding tight. Or while I'm chanting, sometimes it's one of my feet. And so it's just this automatic aspect of being in a human body and reprogramming ourselves to be more and more calm, more and more relaxed, despite the outer circumstances. So let's start with our first practice. Is going to take a double inhalation, and we're going to tense the whole body. And what I mean by that is you're going to go from low to medium all the way up until your muscles are almost shaking, and then you go right back in the same direction. So from high to medium to low. And we use it with a double breath in through the nose. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze every last muscle you can find, and then relax gently and throw the breath out of the mouth. Again. Squeeze in the arms, the chest, the belly, ribs, thighs, calves, feet, and release. One more time. Squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Good, and relax in emptiness. Just relax the breath. Let's close the eyes down just for a moment here. Feel the body finding its new calibration. Good. And then when you're ready, you can open the eyes. So we're going to practice a breathing technique called Nadi Shodhan. It's alternate nostril breath. If you know this breath, you can dive right in, but you may like to note if there are any differences than you're used to. In the traditional way, we're folding our first two fingers down. So I'll show you with a green background here. And you're going to block off the right nostril. Some people teach, I'll come up close here, to actually pinch the nostril down. But I'd suggest that you just place the thumb underneath, okay? And you're going to be using primarily switching between thumb and ring finger. So let's go ahead and we'll all start together. So we're blocking off the right side, and you're going to exhale all the breath out of the left nostril. And then inhale, draw the breath up through the left side, just like you're ascending to the peak of a mountain. When you reach the top, you switch fingers, placing ring finger underneath on the left nostril, and let the breath slowly come out of the other side. And then you inhale through the same side. So on right side here, if you're with me, move faster or slower as you need to, and then switching always at the top. and we exhale out of the first side that we started. If your nose is blocked, you just gently breathe as natural as you can through the nose. So let's stay here for a few rounds if you can. I'll take us through a few more cues for this particular type of breathing. The first one, especially if it's new to you, relax your whole body. We have a tendency to really draw all of our attention by tensing the muscles. Just try to slowly relax. Second is to feel the breath entering right at the top of your nose, so the point between your eyebrows. Feeling the inhale rushing, spreading throughout the brain, cooling down the brain. Exhalation, a warm breath carrying with it all of the energy that's ready to release out of the body. If you ever get lost, just exhale out of whichever side you're on, re-inhale, and we're always switching at the peak. If you feel to, you can close the eyes and just look slightly upward. If your arm's a little tired, you can always hold onto your elbow too. That can be nice if this is a new practice for you. Now, as with any practice that we're using in yoga, we are always moving in a particular direction. So yoga is a directional practice. And the direction that we're heading is always towards greater interiorization, so drawing your energy in, and then through an ascension of the energy, so lifting it up. So if you can feel your body strongly, pay attention to the body. If you are more comfortably aware of the breath flowing in and out of the nose, watch the breath. And for anyone that may be sensitive to energy, if you feel the energy flowing, watch the energy. Now, when you are ready to end, you can continue even as we move into this next aspect of our practice. I'd encourage you to, if you can. But if you feel that you're ready to end the practice, just exhale all the breath out of the right side. Now, the real magic of this practice is when you release the breathing pattern, palms facing up, realign through the spine, and look right to the point between the two eyebrows. This breathing practice releases excess carbon in the bloodstream, which makes it considerably easier to be still in your body. It also balances the hemispheres of the brain, which most of us tilt towards the rational, reasoning side of our mind, and we're balancing the creative, spontaneous. And just for a few more moments, if you haven't released the breath, make sure you're ending outside of the right nostril, and just take some moments here, enjoy some moments rather, of stillness in your body. Allow the breath to flow as it will. No desire to control. See if you can get a little taller through the crown of your head. Outwardly relaxed, inwardly alive. Shanti, shanti, shanti. You're ready. You can slowly open the eyes. So we're going to come into our first position today. And a little bit of warm up before we come into a full restorative pose, but we're going to spread the legs nice and wide. So as wide as is comfortable for you. Don't worry if your knees are bending. You may opt to take a pillow and sit right on the edge of it. This will help to tilt your pelvis forwards. And I thought we might start off by taking the hands and rubbing them together. And really getting some good heat going between the palms. So wait till you get a little friction. Good. And then go right down the inside of the legs. So just a little bit of rubbing here. Try to relax in your low spine or let your breath be central in the lower regions of your lungs by breathing and expanding the belly. And send messages to your body that it's okay, it's safe in this pose. It can let go of its defenses. And then get to the outside too a little bit here. Sometimes it's nice to do a little bit of drumming down the legs. So an interesting point about relaxing is it actually requires us to draw a lot of energy into the body. Simultaneously, we'll just go a little more rubbing. We're also releasing tension out of our muscles. And energy no longer being drained into the tension of our body is free to be channeled somewhere. Another aspect of relaxation is concentration. Okay, good. We're going to wash to the side. I want you to imagine like a seashell just drifting down through the ocean water. And you really get in that quality of water as this posture in so many ways is affecting that aspect of our inner being, of the water-like quality of the sacrum. Good. Or you might imagine that you're, a tree just swaying in the wind from side to side if you feel like you need more grounding. And start to relax. See if you can get this into a 3D plane where you're waving forwards and then drawing back and waving forwards again. It's just time and patience. Time and patience. Try wiggling the toes here, especially if you feel very serious or you find that you're knitting between your brows with so much desire for focus into, reach the peak of your practice. We're going to just start to wash those feelings out. Before you know it, you're leaning further and further forwards. You're most certainly reaching little muscles in the back sides of the thighs and the knees that are perhaps having a conversation with you. Lower spine may be joining the conversation. Let's make sure that it's not an argument or a power struggle, but that we're just letting these parts of the body sort of work out who belongs where. If you catch yourself sort of frantically swinging from side to side, always move in the direction of an interiorization, which means more gentle, harmonious movement, and the ascension of energy. So keep reaching through crown of the head. If you feel confident, free the hands and just take a little sway from side to side, a little bit of a twisting. There's no torquing in this, just peeking over to see where the body's ready to go. This is such a soothing and grounding practice to really help you feel anchored into what's happening right in front of you. All right, when you're ready, we are going to lower ourselves forwards. So if you have pillows, make yourself a little pillow tower, as high as it needs to be until you can rest your forearms. You can be side by side. You can be holding on your elbows, but just find a way. Some of us don't need any pillows at all, and wonderful. Then you know how to take care of yourself, and you're just going to bow your head down. So bow the head down. And the idea here is to lean into an edge of your practice, but not to be playing with fire, so to speak. Let this be a much gentler, a more tender invitation, and we'll close down the eyes. Most important is that your head is bowing forwards, and this releases the all-important place at the base of your skull, top of your spine. You might even start by centering your energy here for a few moments, your awareness, your concentration. And just imagine that you are plugged in to an unlimited supply of life force. All that it requires is you to open the blinds in your windows to receive that light into your body. And let it pour through you right out to tips of the toes. Also, if your legs ever feel like they're maybe close to falling asleep or a little stale in this pose, just wiggle the toes or open and close the hands a couple times. Now, let's see what's happening in our jaw. What's happening in your jaw in this moment? Are we clenching teeth? How about the expression of the face? If you could imagine that you are lying in the sun or you're in the spa, whatever is your version of paradise, let that quality of energy wash through your body. And start by leading with deep relaxation. Imagine that you're angelic or that there's light shining from beneath your skin. And if you feel compelled to maybe just lean a little bit towards one side or the other, if your setup allows for this, and you just see what it might feel like to stimulate that side of the body. So if you're leaning right, left side of the body is going to be stimulated and vice versa. So just take some time here, choose a side, spend some time breathing. Let's join with the affirmation early in our practice. So repeating by centering all of your attention at the point between the two eyebrows. This is an inward affirmation with 100% of your attention and 100% of the sincerity in your heart. The affirmation, I welcome each new opportunity for further growth. Let that get beneath the surface. I welcome each new opportunity for further growth. That includes the person having the bad day at the grocery store. It includes the upset child or spouse. I welcome each new opportunity for further growth. Feel that new orientation. It's like looking out over a vast horizon, limitless potential. I welcome each new opportunity for further growth. Now you've been down for a little while, so as you do feel ready, Let's first of all make sure if you've been leaning to one direction that you just spend a little time on the opposite side. We'll be patient together just to make sure that we're all finding our alignment. And for anyone who's ready to rise, if they are already in a balanced state, just slowly, head is the last part of the body to rise. Set your hands behind you, and you're going to actively draw the shoulders back behind the body, folding. If you had wings, you're folding your wings behind you. And your chest is lifting, your heart and all of its natural aspiration being given center stage. And look right to the spiritual eye. Chin stays drawn towards the throat. Allowing that wonderful energy to begin coursing up through the spine. Good. Let's just take a few circles with the feet, circling feet and ankles, making sure that they feel the love coming from the earth up through the body. When you're ready, you can just slowly come back through center. You may opt to just kind of lift underneath one of the knees and then do the other side as you need to, or you can slide them together as is natural. We're going to fold our legs off to the side. So the front of your mat will be laying this way, and you're just putting one knee, let's give you a better view here, one knee on top of the other. And you may like a pillow underneath here. And you're going to turn yourself behind and lay one pillow, maybe two, even three pillows if you need an extra. And eventually we're lying down towards the earth. You're looking in the same direction as your knees. And if you like visuals, I'm a visual learner, I'll show you with the pillows. So you want to make sure that it's nice and tight right up against the hip. This gives you the most support. And then lie yourself down. Good. And we're keeping this early twist in our practice deep down in our spine. So maybe start by focusing on the base of your spine and working up to the sacral region, which is just above the root. The first three centers representing symbolically our sense of survival in the root, our sense of relation to one another in the sacral, and our sense of self in the solar plexus. In the root, when the energy is turned upward, we feel abundant in our consciousness. We feel safe, grounded, and a deep sense of trust that everything that we need arrives in the perfect time when we need it. Let's take a few moments in the root energy center of the body. If you're a visual practitioner, you may visualize the color red. Let it be a strong fire engine red, healthy, vital. Very important, even as we focus on any given energetic center in the body, your attention is always at the spiritual eye. This is your anchor point for your entire practice. This is your central sun. And the root is like an orbiting celestial body. It's in your field of awareness, but never your central focus. Let's use the affirmation together. I am safe. I am sound. All good things come to me. Make sure you repeat this yourself inwardly. I am safe. I am sound. All good things come to me. And one more time with deep concentration. I am safe. I am sound. All good things come to me. I am safe. I am sound. All good things come to me. Let's move beyond just words and feel from the inside out to the periphery. The feeling of trust, of perfect faith that everything that you need arrives at the perfect time. Another powerful affirmation: I go forth in perfect faith in the omnipresent good, that I receive all that I need at the time that I need it. I go forth in the perfect faith in omnipresent good. I receive all that I need at the time that I need it. So make sure we all finish our posture by centering the awareness at the spiritual eye, and just let a few breaths flow through the body with the awareness uplifted. And just think anything that's ready to evaporate out of the root. Any fear or paranoia, just very gently effervescent, bubbling to the surface and evaporating out. When you're ready to begin to stir in the posture, start by sealing the hands into the ground, really feeling the earth through the palms. And then inhaling, you can begin pressing through the palms, and head is the last part of the body to rise. We're slowly rising for a moment. When you do get into your center here, feet can be down, knees bent, and just take a few moments with your hands resting behind you to lift the heart. So this is considered a neutral position. Just for a few moments, look deep into the spiritual eye. Chin stays tucked towards the throat. Good, and then as is natural, we're setting for the other side. So pillows stay just the same, and you roll yourself over, one knee on top of the other. If you like the pillow under this knee for a little support, feel free. Just make sure you have enough to extend. Again, close to the hip, and other pillow close behind that one. If you need a third, maybe for your heart, or maybe your head to rest on. And then take your time. Start to initiate the twist. It's okay if the hip lifts off of the ground a little bit. And then slowly start to lay yourself down and look in the direction of your knees. It's just such a lovely feeling when you finally land on your pillows, and they're really set up in the perfect way for you. You let the eyes close down, let the breath slowly charm you into a deeper state of relaxation. And before you know it, you're in the familiar place of deep rest, the muscles of the body feeling the permission to lay over the part of the earth that they are connecting with. You might start by scanning through the body and relaxing through the face and the throat, the shoulders, chest, and down the arms, even through the heart, back of the heart, the belly, low spine, into the hips, and down through the thighs, knees, calves, and feet. And then drawing energy up through the soles of the feet, now relax the inside of the body. So any little subconscious pockets of tension, you're just letting the breath wash like the incoming tide up through the legs, through the hips, and all the internal organs. Rich oxygenated blood flowing into your organs, prana, or the life force, enlivening. Then we'll come up into the heart and down and out through the arms, the tips of the fingers, and through the center of the throat, and then all the way up to the brain, and feel that the brain is glowing with vitality. Any little cells that are on low battery receiving their charge. We'll work a little bit here with the sacral center, which is just behind the sexual organs. It's in this beautiful bowl that we call the sacrum or our hips. And I like to think of it as a chalice or a big bowl of water. And so feeling this part of your body, it's the emotional center of your body. When energy is flowing up through this center, higher into the spine, we experience childlike joy, spontaneity, creativity, and an ability to be perfectly flexible and acceptable of the present moment. Again, even as we're focusing on a particular center, let it be in the peripheral. Keep your attention at the spiritual eye as much as you can. And at this center, it's better stimulated with song because it really gets across the vibration of joy. Let's use this chant called "You Fill My Heart with Music." Fill my heart It's the best joy chant out there. It's called Joy, 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 Ever New Joy. Just make sure that our attention is anchored at the point between the two eyebrows, and we'll take a few moments here in silence. Let's just affirm a few rounds of the spiritual eye. Joy, 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 ever new joy. This is the essence of who each one of us is. Joy, 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 ever new joy. And when you feel compelled, we draw energy back into the palms, let them set into the earth, and this time give energy to the earth. Let waves of joy extend through your heart, through your arms, and ripple out into the earth, whatever earth is below you. When you feel ready to, with a sense of renewal, start to lift your way out of the posture until you do come back to a neutral position. Leave the eyes closed if you can, and just center the hands behind you. I like to extend the feet out just a little bit and leave the knees bent and lift the chest forwards. Keep the chin drawn towards the throat and focus on lengthening through the crown of the head. The entire body relaxed. Joy, 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 ever new joy. When you're ready, you can slowly lower out of that position. So I'd like to show you first of all the easier version of our next pose. If you could open your eyes for just a moment, we'll be lowering down onto the back. If you're coming into the supported version, we can cross one of your ankles over your knee. Now the restorative version will be to place pillows under your supportive foot and just to step onto the pillow so you can stay like this. Now for all other yogis, if you'd like to come into pigeon pose, there is And there are many wonderful restorative ways to be in this pose. You'd come onto hands and knees and just start by extending your right leg behind you, sliding left ankle out of the way, and then you'd set pillows underneath your hips as much as necessary with a stronger focus on the left hip. And eventually you're sliding down. If you need extra support under the front side of the thigh, you do a little pillow here, and you can really get yourself into a wonderful place. Now, if you'd like to come even deeper and you have extra pillows, you can place them in front of your chest. So this can be quite interesting to put one on top of your thigh, or you can just place them one over the other and drop your forearms onto that space so that the head can release down. If you find that you're attempting one of these postures and it just doesn't quite feel right to you, the wisdom here would be to go onto the back and just relax into a comfortable position. Such a beautiful posture for the body, but can be a little demanding of the hips. So be mindful of what your body's ready for, and that it doesn't become a distraction in your practice. So for those practicing the second version, it's a little more challenging. Again, I just would like to emphasize for you all that the cushion underneath the hips is really important so that you can stay here. You can untuck the toes if you'd like. And again, if you have the extra pillows, you place them on your forearms, or you can let your head bow down. So let's see what we can do here. Once you do find a comfortable place to rest into the pose, let the breath begin to enter any part of the body that speaks loud enough to gather your attention. And you might imagine that this part of your body is beginning to glow with your attention. And that whatever part of the body is drawing your attention, make sure that the anchor point of your awareness is still at the spiritual eye, as high as you can to the point between the two eyebrows. And that whatever sensation that you feel arising, let the breath begin to mix and swirl into these parts of the body. And just like a skylight, feel all of the energy rising up to release out of the spiritual eye. So whatever it is, a nice deep breathing. And let's work here into the solar plexus region. This is perhaps, alongside the spiritual eye, the most important energy center. And the reason is that it's the energy center that contains all the transformational potential. So fire is the element that dissolves the seemingly definite boundaries of earth and even water. Let this inner fire begin to grow a little bit stronger. And just as fire draws the energy around it to itself, it pulls oxygen from the environment around, drawing from underneath itself and releasing it upward. When the energy is rising through this energy center, it has the wonderful effect of drawing any stagnancy or any downward moving forces in the lower energy centers. It will naturally begin to purify and pull those energies up. Very quickly transmuting. We're going to use the affirmation, I am master of my energy. I am master of myself. I am master of my energy. I am master of myself. Just imagine how quickly fire can transform a landscape. You could have thousands of year old ancient forest, and a fire can very quickly transform that landscape. And so is true for the qualities within us. When energy is flowing up through the center, we experience fiery self-control. Make sure to keep the gaze at the spiritual eye. We're going to continue with this particular posture, but we're going to move to the other side. Try to do so gracefully and gradually, keeping the awareness internalized. Let's keep this inner experience of our fire nature strong and in the forefront of our practice. So if you're on your back, you have this wonderful luxury of just swapping sides very gently. If you're coming out of the pose of pigeon pose, you just very gently remove any props and switch sides. It's easiest to draw the right knee far forwards and slide the left knee back and then swing the ankle out to the side. Just make sure you have your pillows on your hips. Ideally by now, it's easy for you to set up for your pose. Also pillows for forearms as needed. Again, you might allow a few moments as you're entering the pose. Just feel the breath circulating into the parts of the body that are being stimulated. Above all, release the head and the neck. Let's draw our energy and awareness up to the spiritual eye if you haven't already. And just as you would look through your peripheral vision, you let your whole sense of self expand to accommodate the entire body, even into the room. You might begin now to feel the energy rising past the solar plexus into the region of the heart. When energy is flowing upward through the heart, it's expressed as generosity, compassion, sympathy, unity. If ever you arrive in one of these postures and you need to change the articulation or even leave the posture entirely, follow your intuition. If you are able to deeply relax into this posture, then stay a while and see what benefits it may have for you. The heart is the feeling center, different than the emotional center of the body in the sacrum. Emotions are a type of feeling, but there are other types of feelings such as devotion, aspiration. Emotions, desires denote an outward moving force. And we are yogis invested in drawing the energy within and lifting up higher. Let also the energy of the heart begin to draw inward and upward. We couldn't possibly be focusing on the heart without a chant. And this chant we've enjoyed many times together, perhaps one of my favorite chants. Certainly one of the favorites is Door of My Heart. And it's at this energy center, this area of the body, that we begin to develop an inner relationship with something greater than just our personal identity. Something more subtle than the material world, far, far beyond. Rather, you could think even more subtly within this realm of the senses. And our introduction starts with a feeling-based consciousness. So let's see what might be resting in the treasure house of your heart tonight. And always with attention resting at the spiritual eye.
Will
Just listen to the gentle whispers of the heart. Let's make sure that we're finishing our posture with the energy at the spiritual eye. When you feel inspired to begin exiting the posture, just very, very gently coming out of the posture. If you're on your back, you can go ahead and join with us by rolling off to your side and slowly pressing your way up. For those of us coming out of pigeon position, and eventually all of us, let's extend our legs behind us. There's only one place to go out of a good pigeon, and it's down onto the belly. And we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So make sure you have some pillows, and you're going to lie the pillows onto the belly. So make sure that the belly is resting at least partially onto the pillows. We're going to use this as an active pose. So when you do arrive down into your Sphinx, again, pillows are on the belly and on the chest for support. Elbows touching the earth, palms resting. And the chin is gently drawn towards the chest, toes are pointing. And so there's one beautiful line of energy from the tips of your toes all the way up the insides of the legs, from the base of the spine, through the beautiful curve of your low spine, all the way up through the heart, through the neutral neck, and all the way to the crown of the head. We're going to focus on broadcasting our awareness from the spiritual eye. This is a wonderful counter position to our long pigeon expression. Now, if you feel like you'd like to rest over the pillows and let the head drop down, you're most welcome to. But for those of us wishing to draw the energy further up the spine, keep the head lifted and use the least amount of energy, perfect efficiency, by relaxing the muscles and allowing the inner currents to keep lengthening your body. Working now through the region of the throat, when energy is flowing upward, we experience calmness, expansiveness. And even at the center, which resides in between the connection point of the collarbones at the base of the throat, lift your awareness back to the spiritual eye if it's drifted. quality of calmness is slightly different than peace, in that it denotes an alertness, a readiness to respond in an instant. Calmness is a quality of a great warrior. It denotes confidence, trust. Now you're most welcome to stay here, but we aren't going to stay in this pose as it is active. We are going to either choose one of the postures. You can come into child's pose and take a balance for your Sphinx pose with head coming down. Or you might like to set for your final posture, which could be none other than restorative fish pose. So if you are coming into your fish pose, you settle one pillow behind the base of your hips and one behind that. You may want an extra one for your head, depending on how thick your pillows are. And then you just slowly melt your way back. Let's extend the legs out. If you have a blanket, now would be a great time to grab your blanket. If you like an eye covering, you're most welcome to use that as well. One contraindication for this pose, well, maybe that's not the exact right word, but one thing we want to avoid in this pose is letting the chin flip higher than the nose. On a physical level, it makes it quite more challenging to relax. But on an energetic level, think about what's happening. You're kinking the spine, which is going to stop the flow of energy from getting to the spiritual eye. Which, whether we know it or not, this is all our journey. Palms can face up to expand more deeply into the pose. Palms can also rest on the belly for a feeling of security, groundedness. And the last energy center that we're working with is the spiritual eye. When energy is flowing upward through the spiritual eye, there's a feeling of our individual consciousness uniting with the vast consciousness of this universe. There is the dawning of intuition, insight, realization, which is really just to say calm feeling. Rather than looking at the point between the two eyebrows, feel that you are gazing outward, as if gazing through a window. Let all the boundaries that seem so real to the senses to fall away and to feel yourself expanding. The affirmation for the spiritual eye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace, peace, peace. begin to come back to the body without moving any muscle. Allow a moment just to feel yourself floating in stillness. Let's come back to the point between the two eyebrows, feeling energy circulating through the rest of the body. Let that energy extend out to tips of the fingers, tips of the toes, and start to articulate the physical body in any way that you please. It could be extending the arms, it could be reaching them up overhead. Just take little measures to keep waking up the body. If you like, you can step feet onto the earth, knees bent, and wave the knees gently side to side. Just be mindful of the low back. You might like to draw one knee towards the chest, other leg extended long, vice versa. All paths lead back to a seated position. I'd advise that you roll off to your right side and then slowly come back to rising. You can take any version of a seated posture that you'd like. It could be legs crossed, legs extended. Let the eyes remain closed, everything internalize, and feel perhaps how natural it is for the energy to be resting higher up in the physical body. As if all the doorways of your spine have been aligned and open, everything circulating easily, freely. Let your spine extend a little bit higher by lifting through crown of the head. Outer frame is perfectly relaxed. Inner energy, the inner spine is always rising. And at the spiritual eye, you might like to just gently repeat Om, peace, bliss. Om, peace, bliss. Feeling deep relaxation. Om, peace, bliss. Make sure you keep your chin drawn towards your throat. This is a safeguard against the chin lifting and tensing the back of the neck. Heart is open. Now this could be an ideal time for you to just drop into stillness and stay in this space. When you're ready to finish your practice, you can join your hands together in prayer in front of the heart. Let's call someone into mind that could use healing prayer in their life. Somebody that is maybe perhaps facing a physical challenge, even just a mental or emotional or spiritual evolution happening in their lives. Truly, they're all one and the same. But let's pray for the upliftment of these souls. And know that whoever it is that's near and dear to you, that we're all praying for them right now. Everybody is praying for one another. Let's see them all held in a field of light, a brilliant white light dissolving all boundaries, anything troubling their consciousness, any call to awakening now being answered. Let's rub the palms together as a way to generate some magnetism, awaken the palms. When you're ready, just draw your hands out by the sides of the head. Above all, relax your body. Remember that you are a channel and that this energy flows through you. It does not flow from you. Let's gently look at the point between the two eyebrows, and we'll sound Om 3 times, offering ourselves as a conduit for grace. A deep breath to begin. Feel a good flow through your hands, leave them outward raised. Whenever you're ready, you can join them back together in prayer position. Just take a few moments to be inwardly still. And then when you're ready, you can gently bow to the hands held in prayer, lifting thumbs to the spiritual eye, if you're choosing to join. And we're bowing to the aspect that's within everyone, that's within all of this manifested world, that is always perfect, always loving and kind. It's our highest potential, and it's the place where we're all unified. We're bowing to that consciousness, inviting it into ourselves, and inviting it to express in all the world by saying Namaste. Namaste to all of you. Take your time coming back, slowly opening eyes as you're ready to. Thank you all so much for being here this evening. I wish you all a harmonious week. As much as you can, come back to this place daily. Anyway, at all costs, if it means meditating more, if it means changing plans or changing schedules, it's really, there's nothing more valuable than peace in this world. So let's ourselves choose to be an anchor for this peace so that we can be of service to others. All right, namaste everyone.